Hello everyone. So today we are going to see how can we store HTML form data into database using the Servlet and JDBC. So here what we will do, we will create one form and that form data we will take the values from the user and that will store into the mysql database. So let us see example. This is I have created one form and here I will give the value as name as Sam and city as Pune and mobile number something 334455 and date of birth anything we can give 5 or then after clicking on register, here we will get message data stored into the database. So I have already created here one database in the mysql workbench, and if I refresh this you can see Sam, date of birth, mobile and city you can see here. So let us see how can we store the data into the database from the HTML. So we will create our project in the Eclipse ID. So right click here and go to the new, and here we will create one dynamic web project, and here we will give the name as HTML2 database DB. Then what we have to do, click on next and next, and here we have to check this generate web.xml deployment descriptor and click on finish. And your any web server you can use, and you must configure that web server with the Eclipse ID. I have already done that. You can use any web server. So in this project I am using here a tomcat 9. So our project is created. Here you can see HTML2 DB, and first step is we will create one HTML file to take the data from the user. So in this you can see, go to our project and in the src go to the main, and in the main go to the web app, then right click on web app, then go to the new, then here we will create one HTML file, that is home.html, and click on next and click on finish. So here we will create our form. So here I have written the HTML code. So let me explain what is this. So first of all, in this project we will use the bootstrap. So we have to add this script. You can find this script from the W3 Schools website. You can go to the browser and search for bootstrap 4 and click on w3schools.com. in that you can see here bootstrap 4 CDN, and you can copy this. I will give of this website in the description. You can go there and you can copy these links, and for using the bootstrap we must add this script and link. So next, here we are using the bootstrap, and if you didn't know how to use, I have already created one video on how to create the form and read the form data into the servlet. I will give link of that video in the description, and in that video I have explained from the basic level, that means how to create a form and how to use this and what is this card and how this is working, that is text, light and VG danger. You can watch that video. In that video I have discussed from the beginning. So let me explain. So first step is we have to add this link and scripts for using the bootstrap. Next, in the body I have used this class called container fluid, which is present in the bootstrap. Then here heading registration form. So if we go to the here and if we see the yes, now this is register form is the heading. So heading, card header, text center, text light and BG danger. So this is the heading. Background is danger, that's why BG danger, and text is light, that means this is white text, and text center means it will be in the center. Now next, So heading is done. Now here we will create a form. So in the form class we will take here a form and action register. That means after submitting this form it will go to this URL called register, that we have to create a servlet with this URL. Next, this is a table. So why we are taking here a table? Because here in the form you can see that we are require this label and text box. So for this text box to be in the same line we are taking table. So go here eclipse, that for we are taking table. So in the first row the name and input type as text and name as name. Then in the next we are taking city and we will store that into the name, that is city. Then mobile we are taking, then date of birth we are taking, and last submit button and value as register, reset button and value as reset. So if I go to the browser, here you can see this is a table row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. In the first row we are taking name and storing the data in this text area. Then city, and we are taking here input, mobile input, date of birth, and here you can see in the form we are using this type as date. So for that we will get one calendar, this for the date of birth, because we are taking here a type as date. Next we are taking submit and reset. So submit, for here we take register because what we have taken here value as register, that for register is coming, and value as reset. That means reset, what I will do, whatever data we will take, if I click on reset, so all the data is reset, that means it will empty. And this effect you can see, if I go here, it after hovering it will turn into the what, this green light, and after I am going into here reset, it will turn into red color, because of we are using here bootstrap, and class is btn outline as success and btn outline as danger. So to make our form good we are using here a bootstrap. So again you can see how this is working. I have created one video, that video I will give in the description. You can see I have developed this form from the scratch, if you didn't understand here. So now the form is completed. Now next step is we have to read this form in the servlet. So here we have to create the servlet, and here the URL pattern of the servlet will give as a register. So let me copy this, and in the src main java right click here and go to the new and go to the class, and here we will create register servlet, and in the package we will take as com.servlet.register and click on finish. Now here we will take the URL pattern as we have given in the web. So here, before going to write logic for the servlet, what we have to do, you require this tomcat servlet API for using the HTTP servlet in our project. So you can go to this website. I will give link of that website in the description. You can download this jar. I have already done that. After downloading, what you have to do is, so after downloading that jar file, right click on our project, then go to the build path, then go to the configured build path and click on class path, then add external jar and go to the location where you downloaded. I have downloaded here, and you can see here tomcat servlet API I have downloaded. Click on this and click on open and click on apply and close. And also here we are working with the mysql database, so for that you must download this jar file, also mysql connector j. So yeah, I will give link of this in the description. You can go there and download this jar file. So this jar file is also required to us for working with the MySQL database. Then go to the Eclipse. I have downloaded already, so also we have to add that jar file. So right click on our project and go to the build path and configure build path and click on class path, then click on add external jar, and here you can see I have already done that MySQL connector Java. You can go to the location where you downloaded. So I will click here and click on open, and here you can see MySQL connector jar file is added, and click on apply and close. So in the reference libraries you can see Tomcat and MySQL is added here. So if you want to work with the HTTP servlet, you must add this servlet API, and if you want to work with the database, you must add this MySQL jar file. So I have already created the video on the JDBC. You can watch my JDBC playlist if you didn't know about the JDBC. And so let us see next what you have to do. Now here we'll use the annotation called web servlet, and we'll give the URL. You can also give this URL in the XML, but that is a very long process. We have to write very much code in the web.xml. You can also do that, but this is a simple way we can write in the web.xml. You can also give the servlet name and URL mapping, so you can do that. So I am using here this annotation called web servlet. So here action we have taken as register, so that's why we are taking here URL as register. Now we have to extend from the HTTP servlet, extends HTTP servlet, and so we will write here two methods of that, doGet and doPost. So here we have didn't return any method. That means the default method is what? Get method is default. So for processing these two methods, we will write here a logic. If that is a doPost method, we will pass that into doGet instead of writing the same logic in the both the method. So if the method is post, we will pass that into the get, and here we will write the logic in the doGet method. So let me here. So here we have request comma response. Now first step is read the values from the our form. So first of all we will take here get print writer. So print writer pw equals to response dot get writer, and for importing this print writer press Ctrl Shift O. So print writer is imported. Now next what we have to do, set the content type. So res dot set content type as text/html, text/html. Then what we have to do, read the form values. So how to read the form values? By using the request. So in the home.html, whatever we have given as a name, by using that name you can read the values. So how to read the value? First we will take string name as request dot get parameter, and we have to give here a name. So whatever the user will give here in the form data name, that we will read here. Next Control Alt down, Control Alt down, Control Alt down for go to down. So here we will take next what is we have city. So city, next what we have mobile and date of birth. So mobile and date of birth, and here we have to take the name as we have discussed, name, city, mobile, DOB. So go to the servlet, and if I go here, name, city and mobile and date of birth, and at the end close the stream. Now first before storing this data into the database, we'll first see whether this data is coming into our servlet or not. Here what happened, pw.close. Yep, Now we'll print the data of this form. Sysout control space enter, and name, here we'll take name concat. So control alt down, control alt down, control alt down. Then we will print city and mobile, and next one is date of birth, and in this place also we have to modify to city and mobile and date of birth. So let us test our application. And in the web.xml, what we'll do, we'll take the welcome file as our this registration form. So go to web.xml and click here home.html. And if you don't know about welcome file, I have already created video on the welcome file. You can go and watch into my servlet playlist. You will find there what is the use of server welcome file, and we can give welcome file as servlet, also HTML and JSP, and how that will work. So what happen is, whenever we give the welcome file, whenever we will run the application on the server, so the first file that will load when our web application is run on the server, that file name we have to give here. In our case, we have given the home.html. That means first page will be our home.html. So I have already configured tomcat with the web server with our eclipse ID. We can also do that. So right click on our project and go to run on server, and here you can see tomcat 9. Click on next. Remove all, only we have to run this project, that is HTML2DB project. Then click on finish. Okay, then server will loaded in the console and it will be open in the browser. So here we can see the first file after running on the server is registration file, because in the web.xml we have given home.html as welcome file. So let us see, if I give here a data called Sam and city called Pune and mobile 334455 and date of birth as I will take here 6, and if I click on register, what is happening, go to our eclipse ID, and here you can see whatever the form data we are taking, giving Sam, Pune and mobile number and date of birth. So that means we have successfully read the data from the HTML form, and here we are displaying. So let me go to the eclipse, and now we'll stop our server. Next, so now next step is we have to store the data into database table. So here I am using mysql workbench, and here I have created one schema called first DB. In that you can see table, and in the table right click on this and go to create table. Here we will create one table called user. Then after that, here we have to create the columns. First we will take as name, then here we will take as city, here data type as varchar. Where is varchar? Here we will take size as 20, then city, then mobile, and then at the end we will take here date of birth. Then this is done. Click on apply, then click on apply, and after that click on finish. So our table is created, that is user, in the schema called first DB. So let us go to eclipse, and first step what we have to do now here is we have to load the JDBC driver. So load the JDBC driver. So for that we have to use class.forName and com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So this will load our JDBC driver. We have to surround with it is with the try catch block. Now create a connection. So create the connection with the MySQL. So how to do that, we'll use here try with resources. So connection on equals to driver manager dot get connection. Here we'll give the URL. So what is URL for MySQL? JDBC colon mysql colon triple slash and our schema name. So what is our schema name? That is first db is our schema name. You can give any your schema name. So first db, I have taken here a schema name as first db. So next comma, we have to give the username of database. I am using here root because the username and password of my database is root and root. Then semicolon. Next, for importing this connection, press Ctrl Shift O and java.sql.connection will be imported. Now here we will take a prepare statement. Before prepare statement, we need to create a one. Here we have to catch the exception. Let me catch SQL exception SC. Then if any exception we got, first of all we will import by Ctrl Shift O. Then if any exception got, we will print on the browser. So for that, print ln esc dot get message and sc dot print track trace. Also if we got another error, so we will print here exception e. Then here we have to write pw dot println and e dot get message and e dot print stack trace. This is done. What happened here? Println, we have to write println. Now for we have to create the query. So create the query. We will create at the top as private static final string. Here insert underscore query query. So what is the query we have to write? Here insert query we have to write. So insert into what is our table name, that is user. Then first is name, then city, then mobile, then date of birth, and values we'll take here as question mark. So if we go here, what are the columns? Name, city, mobile and dob. Name, city, mobile, dob. We will set now values. This is our query. So let us create here a prepare statement object. So prepared statement ps equals to con dot prepare statement and query as insert underscore query and press semicolon and press Ctrl Shift O for importing this prepare statement. Prepare statement is imported. Now we'll set the values at this placeholder. First is name, city, mobile and dob. So let us set the values, whatever form data, set the values. So ps dot set string. At first we have to take the name, then ps dot set string. Then at the second place what we have to do is city name, then ps dot set string, and at the third place we have to take the mobile, mobile, ps dot set string. At the fourth place we have to take the date of birth and execute the query. As this is a non-select query, so it will return count. So int count equals to ps dot execute update, and we'll check whether if count equals to 0, that means our record is not stored. So pw dot println will print on the browser record not submitted, else we have to print pw dot println record submitted, record stored into database. We will print here stored into database, database database, and in that here record not stored into database, right? Next this is done now, so close the stream. Now here we have written the logic for what we are doing. Here we created the query, and here we will set the values. So whatever we are setting, this name will go to this first place, city will be go to second, mobile will go to third as value, then date of birth, and this insert query will be executed. So here what we have done, first we take here a HTML form we have created for taking the data from the user. In the next we will create the register, and URL will take as the register, and this URL will take as here in the action equals to register. So whatever the form data, it will go to this servlet. And next is we are reading the data by request.get parameter. So by reading data, next one is we are loading the JDBC driver, and for storing the our data into the database, next we have created the table called the user in the schema called first DB. Then after that what we have done is loaded the JDBC driver, we have created the connection, we have taken the JDBC URL for the mysql JDBC mysql / schema name, this is username, this is password. Then we have used the here prepared statement, ps equal to count dot prepare statement. Here we have given the query name as we have created the query. Then we have set the value ps dot setString1, name, city, mobile, date of birth. Then we are executing the query. Then as it is a non-select query, so it will return the integer value. So we'll check whether if the count equal to 0, then in that case record not store, otherwise the record will be stored into the database, and we are printing into the on the browser. Next, if any error we got, we will print that message on the browser. So this is done. And next is very important step what we have to do. If we are working with the database, we have to add the this driver, that is this MySQL connector, into the lib folder. And if you there is another way without adding into the lib, we can also use. For that what we have to do, next another way is right click on this HTML2DB project, then go to the properties, and here you will find the option called deployment, where is yes deployment assembly. Click on this deployment assembly, click on apply, and click on add, and after that go to the where Java build path entries, click on next, and click on MySQL connector jar file, click on finish, apply and close. So to work with the database, this is a step you have to do. What you have to do, go to the project, right click, go to properties, and go to deployment assembly. In that we have to add this jar file. Otherwise what we can do, go to the lib and add this jar file. I prefer this way. Go to the properties, and in the deployment assembly add that jar file. So all the steps are done. Now let us see, right click on this, we'll run on the server, run on server, tomcat, next, finish. So it will open in the browser, server is loading. So our project is opened here in the browser. So first let me take here a name as Sam, then city as Pune, then mobile as 334455, date of birth 6, then click on register, and we should get the message as the record is stored to the database. Let us see, and here we go. We are getting the message as record stored into the database. So let us see in the go to the MySQL workbench. If I refresh here we go, we are getting the data, name, then city, mobile, and date of birth. Here we can see name, city, mobile, date of birth, mobile, So we are successfully done this. Here again we'll store some data. So here we'll take as RAM and Delhi, and mobile number will take 556677, and here we'll take date of birth as anything you can take 7, and click on register. So here you can see record stored into the database, and if I go to the our database, if I refresh here some, so after refreshing you can see here a data is coming, RAM, city as Delhi, mobile and date of birth. So this is a way we can store the form data into the database. So now let's revise what we have done. So first what we have done is we have created the form. So here we have taken home.html and here we have used the bootstrap. So for using bootstrap we have here written the link, script and whatever required for the bootstrap. Next we have created here a form, then name, city, mobile and date of birth, then submit and reset. Then here we have taken the action as register. So next we have created the RegisterServlet. So in that, here we have taken read the data from the form, that is name, city, mobile and date of birth. Then here load the JDBC driver, then create the connection, and next we created the table in the this first DB schema. We have created a table called user with the columns name, city, mobile and date of birth. Next, then here we have used the prepare statement and connection, then execute the execute update our query. Then we check here if count equal to 0, in that case data record is not stored, otherwise record stored into the database will display on the browser. Next, close the stream. So again in the web.xml we have taken the home.html as the welcome file. So this is a way we can store the HTML form data into the MySQL database.